There's a name that money instantly recognizes, a sound that makes abundance turn towards you like a loyal dog hearing its owner's call. But you don't know that name. No one taught you. You spend your whole life whispering please to the universe, begging for scraps, asking permission to receive what is already yours by divine right. And while you plead, others simply call. They utter a word, a specific vibration, and money comes. It's not magic, it's spiritual mathematics. Almost a century ago, when the world plunged into the Great Depression and millions lost everything overnight, a woman discovered this secret. While banks failed and fortunes evaporated, Florence Scovel Shinn observed something extraordinary. Some people not only survived the crisis, but thrived amidst the chaos. What did they know that others ignored? Florence spent years studying, observing, testing, and she discovered that these people did something that seemed simple, yet was revolutionary. They didn't ask for money, they summoned it. They didn't beg for abundance, they commanded it. The difference wasn't in what they said, but in how they named reality. You see, there's a profound difference between those who ask and those who summon, between those who wait and those who declare, between those who whisper and those who name with authority. When you ask, you assume the position of someone who lacks. When you summon, you assume the position of someone who governs. And money, like all energy in the universe, responds to the frequency of command, not the frequency of lack. Florence discovered that money has ears. Not physical ears, but a vibrational sensitivity that instantly detects the difference between a desperate plea and a sovereign call, between an empty supplication and a name pronounced with absolute conviction. And what is this name? It's not a word you'll find in dictionaries. It's not an Eastern mantra nor a mystical formula. It's something much simpler and at the same time much more powerful. It's the name you give yourself when you finally understand who you truly are. But before revealing this secret that transformed so many lives, you need to understand a disturbing truth. You've been calling money by the wrong names your entire life, and every wrong name is a repellent. Every incorrect word is an invisible barrier between you and the abundance that should already be flowing your way. Today, that changes. Today, you learn the true name of money. And when you utter it for the first time, something within you will awaken, something that has been dormant since you were born. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered that money isn't something you possess. It's an extension of who you are. And when you finally grasp this, when you stop treating it like a stranger and start treating it as part of your own identity, everything changes. What Florence discovered goes against everything you've been taught about money, abundance, and worthiness. It will challenge every belief you hold about what's possible for someone like you. But here's the question. Are you ready to discover who you truly are? Are you ready to speak your true name and watch money respond as if it's been waiting for this summons for years? Because once you know, there's no turning back. Once you utter the secret name of abundance, you won't be able to return to the old vibration of scarcity. You won't be able to pretend you're small, limited, dependent on luck or circumstances. You will become what you always were, a conscious channel of divine prosperity. Someone who doesn't ask permission to receive, but commands reality with the authority of one who knows the laws governing creation. And it all starts with a name, your true name. What Florence discovered challenges everything you believe about how money works. She realized that abundance isn't a limited resource contended by billions of people, but a specific frequency that can be tuned into by anyone who knows how to utter the right words. But not just any words. Words that carry authority. Words that vibrate with the certainty of one who knows their place in the universe. Florence called this the principle of divine naming. And it works like this. Everything that exists was brought into manifestation through a name, through a word spoken with absolute intention. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word became flesh. This isn't just a biblical passage. It's an operational instruction on how reality is built. When you understand that the word preceded the form, that the sound preceded the substance, you grasp that your voice isn't just an instrument of communication. It's an instrument of creation. But here's the problem. You've been using your voice as an instrument of destruction. Every time you say, "I don't have money," you're naming a reality. Every time you declare it's difficult, you're summoning difficulty. Every time you affirm, I can't, you're materializing incapacity. You've been an unconscious creator, naming exactly what you don't want to experience. Florence discovered that there's a hierarchy in words. Some carry creative power, others carry destructive power. And the difference isn't in their superficial meaning, but in the vibration you carry when you utter them. When someone who feels poor says, I am prosperous, that's a vibrational lie. The universe detects the incongruence and ignores the request. But when someone who recognizes themselves as an expression of divine abundance declares, I am prosperous, that's a confirmation, a remembrance, a recognition of something that is already true on the spiritual plane. The difference isn't in the words, it's in the identity of the one who speaks them. And here's the secret. Florence took years to uncover. Money doesn't respond to what you say. Money responds to who you are, or rather, to who you recognize yourself as being. When you present yourself to the universe as someone needy, lacking, limited, the universe reflects back need, lack, limitation. When you present yourself as a conscious expression of infinite abundance, the universe reflects infinite abundance. But how do you change your identity? How do you stop seeing yourself as someone who needs money and start seeing yourself as someone through whom money flows naturally? Florence discovered that this happens through 3 specific laws, 3 principles that, when applied consistently, reorganize your financial reality from the root up. The first law is the law of conscious assumption. You need to consciously assume the identity of prosperous before prosperity manifests, not after, before. This means you stop waiting for money to arrive to then feel prosperous. You feel prosperous first, and then money has no choice but to appear to confirm who you already are. The second law is the law of sovereign declaration. Your words need to carry divine authority, not human supplication. You don't ask for abundance. You declare it. You don't request prosperity. You command it. And the difference lies in the vibration you carry when you speak. When you declare something as a conscious representative of universal creative power, your words carry legislative force. They don't just express a desire. They establish a new law in your personal reality. The third law is the law of true naming. You need to discover your true spiritual name and use it when you summon abundance. Not the name on your ID, the name that describes your divine essence, the name that vibrates with your cosmic function, the name that makes the universe remember who you truly are. When these 3 laws operate together, something extraordinary happens. You stop being someone who waits for good things to happen and become someone through whom good things happen naturally. You stop being a passive receiver of abundance and become an active channel through which abundance manifests in the world. And money? Money simply appears, not as a reward for having done something right, but as a natural consequence of you having aligned with who you were always destined to be. Florence tested these principles hundreds of times, with clients who were broke and became prosperous, with people who lived paycheck to paycheck and discovered unexpected sources of income, with individuals who considered themselves unlucky and experienced a complete reversal of their financial circumstances. But it always started the same way, with the discovery of the true name. With the moment the person stopped presenting themselves to the universe as a victim of circumstances and started presenting themselves as a conscious authority over their own reality. And that, my friend, is exactly what you are about to discover. But first, there's a fundamental law that governs all manifestation of abundance. Florence discovered it by observing patterns that repeated in all truly prosperous people. People who weren't just rich in money, but rich in opportunities, relationships, health, creativity. She realized that these people did something that completely set them apart from others. They spoke about money in a specific way. They used specific words. They carried a specific vibration when the topic was abundance. They never said, I need money. They said, I'm directing resources toward this project. They never said, I don't have. They said, I'm reorganizing my priorities. They never said, it's expensive. They said, I'll find a creative way to make this happen. The difference wasn't just semantic. It was vibrational. It was a matter of identity. Florence called this the law of sovereign language. The discovery that prosperous people speak a different language, not because they learned communication techniques, but because they operate from a different identity. When you see yourself as scarce, your language reflects scarcity. When you recognize yourself as abundant, your language reflects abundance. And the universe responds to the vibration of your language, not the vibration of your secret desires. That's why positive thinking doesn't work. Because you can think, I am prosperous, all day long. But if the moment you open your mouth you say, I don't have money for that, you've just canceled hours of positive thinking with seconds of negative language. Your voice has more power than your thoughts. Because when you speak, you are shaping reality. When you think, you are merely processing possibilities. The second law Florence discovered was even more revealing, the law of functional calling. She realized that truly prosperous people don't call money by what it is, but by what it does. They don't say, I want money. They say, I summon the necessary resources to express my purpose. They don't say, I need more money. They say, I command that all the necessary tools for my mission align with me now. The difference is profound. When you ask for money, you're admitting you don't have it. When you summon resources for a purpose, you're assuming authority over what you need to fulfill your function in the world. And the universe responds much better to functional commands than to personal requests. Because functional commands are aligned with the cosmic flow. Personal requests are aligned with the human ego. The third law is the most powerful of all, the law of the true name. Florence discovered that each person has a spiritual name, a sound vibration that perfectly describes their cosmic function. And when you discover that name and use it to present yourself to the universe, doors that have been closed for years open instantly. But this name isn't something you invent. It's something you discover. It's something that has always been there, waiting for you to have enough courage to recognize and pronounce it. When you find your true name and use it to summon abundance, you're no longer asking as a stranger. You're claiming as an heir. You're collecting what is already rightfully yours. And money? Money appears not as a favor from the universe, but as a recognized right, as an inheritance finally claimed, as a power finally assumed. Florence tested these three laws with hundreds of people. And in all cases, when the laws were applied correctly, the transformation happened. Not in months or years, in weeks, sometimes in days, because money was always there, waiting to be summoned by the right person, using the right words, carrying the right vibration. And now you're going to discover how to apply these laws in your life, how to find your true name, how to develop sovereign language, how to summon resources by function instead of asking for money out of lack. But before that, I need you to face an uncomfortable truth about what you've been doing with your words until now. Look around you. Look at your bank account. Look at your opportunities. Look at the flow of money in your life. All of this is the exact reflection of the words you've been speaking in recent years. Every "I can't afford it" materialized into something you genuinely couldn't afford. Every "it's difficult" transformed into real difficulties. Every "I'm unlucky" converted into lost opportunities. You've been an unconscious creator of your own financial limitation. And the most frustrating part is that you don't even realize it. You utter phrases of scarcity automatically, as if they were just innocent comments about your current situation. But there's no innocent comment when it comes to money. Every word you speak about abundance or scarcity is a decree, an instruction to the universe about what you want to experience. When you say, I don't have money, you're not just describing your situation. You're renewing a contract of scarcity. You're re-signing an agreement of limitation. When you declare, money doesn't grow on trees, you're not being realistic. You're establishing a personal law that blocks creative flows of abundance. When you affirm, only those born rich get rich, you're not expressing a social observation. You're creating a vibrational barrier between you and prosperity. Each of these phrases is a key that locks a door. And you've been uttering these keys for so long that you no longer even remember how many doors you've locked. But here's the question. Did you know you were doing this? Did anyone explain to you that your words have creative power? Did anyone teach you that your voice is an instrument of manifestation? Of course not. They taught you that words are just sounds, that you can say anything without consequences. That your comments about money are irrelevant to your financial situation. They taught you wrong. Florence discovered that financially stuck people have a specific language pattern. They use words that diminish, limit, and block. And they do it so automatically that they don't even realize it. Nothing's left at the end of the month. That's a decree that nothing will be left. Everything's expensive. That's an instruction to the universe to make everything inaccessible to you. The rich only get rich by stealing. That's a program that associates abundance with dishonesty, creating an unconscious rejection of prosperity. Each of these phrases is a verbal virus that infects your financial reality. And the more you repeat them, the deeper the infection becomes. But there's an antidote. And this antidote isn't positive thinking. It's not forced affirmation. It's conscious vibrational replacement. When you understand that every word about money is a decree, you stop speaking carelessly about abundance. You develop what Florence called verbal hygiene, the discipline of only uttering words that build the reality you want to experience. Instead of, "I don't have money," you say, "I am consciously directing my resources." Instead of, "Everything's expensive," you say, "I will find the right way to make this happen." Instead of, "I can't afford it," you say, "This isn't aligned with my current priorities." The difference isn't just psychological, it's vibrational, it's creative, it's transformational. Because when you change your language, you change your vibration. When you change your vibration, you change your reality. And when you change your reality, you change your life. But this requires courage. Courage to take responsibility for the words you've been speaking. Courage to recognize that you've been complicit in your own financial limitation. Courage to stop blaming the government, the economy, luck, circumstances. Courage to look in the mirror and admit, "I created this with my own words, and if I created it, I can transform it." When you take on this responsibility, something powerful happens. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become a conscious creator of your financial reality. And then, my friend, you are ready to learn the true name of money, the name that makes abundance turn towards you like a river finally finding its natural bed. The name you should have learned the day you were born, but which no one taught you because no one knew. Until now. There's a ritual Florence created specifically to break old language patterns and install a new frequency of prosperity. She called it the ritual of true names. And it works because it operates on 3 levels of creation: mental, verbal, and vibrational. But before teaching the ritual, I need you to understand one thing. This is not a game. It's not a motivational technique you do for a few days and then abandon. It's a complete reconfiguration of your financial identity. It's a conscious death of the person you've been and a deliberate birth of the person you are destined to be. When you perform this ritual correctly, you won't go back to being who you were before. You won't be able to accept scraps anymore. You won't be able to settle for less than you deserve. You won't be able to vibrate at the frequency of scarcity anymore. You become a different person. A person who money recognizes as its natural home. The ritual has 3 phases: dissolution, declaration, and sealing. In the dissolution phase, you will consciously release all false names you've used to identify yourself financially. You will cancel old verbal contracts. You will dissolve limiting identities that have blocked your flow of abundance. You will stand before a mirror, look into your own eyes and say, "I now cancel every name of scarcity I have carried. I dissolve every identity of limitation I have assumed. I release every word of lack I have uttered. I am no longer someone who needs. I am no longer someone who begs. I am no longer someone who waits. This version of me dies now." And you will feel something moving in your chest, something letting go, something that has been trapped for years finally breaking free. In the declaration phase, you will speak your true spiritual name. And what is that name? It's simple. I am a conscious expression of infinite abundance. It's not a metaphor. It's not wishful thinking. It's a declaration of identity based on the deepest spiritual truth of who you are. You are an extension of the universal creative power. You are a channel through which infinite abundance manifests in the physical world. You are a bridge between unlimited potential and material reality. When you present yourself to the universe with this name, everything changes. Because you're no longer asking as a stranger. You're claiming as an heir. You will say, I am a conscious expression of infinite abundance. I command that all resources necessary to express my divine nature align with me now. I summon opportunities, people, situations, and money that are in harmony with who I truly am. I decree that my financial life reflects my true spiritual identity. In the sealing phase, you will anchor this new identity with a specific daily practice. Every morning, before doing anything else, you will present yourself to the day using your true name. Good morning, universe. I am a conscious expression of infinite abundance. May this day reflect who I truly am. And every night, before going to sleep, you will seal the day's experiences with sovereign gratitude. Thank you, universe, for confirming through all of today's experiences that I am a conscious expression of infinite abundance. This isn't just an affirmation. It's an instruction to your subconscious to reorganize your reality according to your true identity. But here's the secret Florence took years to uncover. The power isn't in the words. The power is in the conviction with which you utter them. When you say, I am an expression of infinite abundance, as a hope, it's ineffective. When you say it as a remembrance of something that has always been true, it's transformational. The difference lies in the vibration you carry when you speak. And that vibration develops with practice, with conscious repetition, with the unwavering commitment to present yourself to the world as who you truly are. In the first few days, you might feel resistance. Your ego will try to convince you that this is arrogance, fantasy, self-deception. Ignore it. This resistance is just the old pattern trying to stay alive. Continue. Persist. Because every time you utter your true name, you're creating a new neural pathway, a new vibration, a new reality. And one day, something will click. You will utter, I am a conscious expression of infinite abundance, and you will feel that it's not an affirmation. It's a remembrance. It's a recognition. It's the most obvious truth in the world. On that day, money will start appearing in your life in ways you never even imagined possible. What happens when you finally assume your true financial identity is that you stop chasing money and money starts chasing you. You stop running after opportunities and opportunities start running after you. Because the universe always knew who you are. It always knew that you are a natural channel of abundance. It always knew that prosperity is your nature, not an achievement. The problem was that you didn't know. And as long as you didn't know, you kept trying to be someone you're not to get something that's already yours. When you awaken to your true identity, you stop forcing things and start flowing. You stop fighting the current and start swimming with it. You stop rowing against the wind and learn to use the sails. Florence observed this pattern hundreds of times. People who struggled for years to make money and, after discovering their true name, found that making money is natural. That attracting opportunities is automatic, that creating abundance is an inevitable consequence of being who you truly are. But this transformation doesn't just happen on a practical level. It also happens on an energetic level. You develop what Florence called prosperous magnetism, a vibration that automatically attracts people, situations, and resources that are aligned with abundance. You stop needing to convince someone to give you an opportunity. Opportunities appear naturally. You stop needing to prove you deserve more money. Money appears to confirm who you already are. You stop needing to force, manipulate, or pressure. You simply present yourself to the world as a conscious expression of infinite abundance, and the world responds by treating you exactly that way. And here's the most beautiful part. The more you live from this identity, the stronger it becomes. The more you present yourself as a channel of abundance, the more abundance flows through you. It's a virtuous cycle that self-sustains and constantly expands. But remember, this isn't about greed. It's not about accumulating money for the sake of accumulating. It's about becoming a conscious channel through which universal abundance manifests in the world to bless, serve, and elevate the lives of all people who cross your path. When you are truly prosperous, your prosperity naturally overflows to everyone around you. You become a source of opportunities for others. You become a living example that abundance is possible. You become proof that the universe is generous and that there is more than enough for everyone. That's the difference between egoic wealth and spiritual abundance. Egoic wealth is based on separation, competition, accumulation. Spiritual abundance is based on unity, collaboration, circulation. When you assume your identity as a conscious expression of infinite abundance, you naturally align with spiritual abundance. And then, my friend, you discover that being prosperous is just the beginning. You discover that your true purpose is to be a channel through which divine prosperity manifests to elevate the human experience on the planet. You become part of the solution to global scarcity. You become living evidence that the universe is abundant. You become proof that when a person awakens to their true nature, everything around them transforms. And it all begins with a name, your true name. You are no longer who you were when you started reading this text. Something has changed. Something has awakened. Something that was dormant has woken up to the truth of who you truly are. You now know your true name, a conscious expression of infinite abundance. You now know the laws that govern the manifestation of wealth. Conscious assumption, sovereign declaration, true naming. You now possess the ritual that reorganizes your financial identity from the root up. But knowing isn't enough. You need to apply. You need to live. You need to become. From now on, every morning is an opportunity to present yourself to the world using your true name. Every conversation about money is a chance to practice sovereign language. Every financial situation is an invitation to exercise your authority as a conscious channel of abundance. You no longer need to wait for someone to give you permission to be prosperous. You no longer need to wait for circumstances to align perfectly. You have everything you need: your true name, your sovereign voice, your divine identity. Declare with me now: I am a conscious expression of infinite abundance. I command that my financial life reflects who I truly am. I summon now all opportunities, people, and resources that are aligned with my true nature. So it is, so it shall be. Feel it echoing in your chest. Feel it vibrating in your cells. Feel it reorganizing your reality from the deepest level. If this message awakened something within you, leave your comment sharing which part touched your heart the most. If you felt a real shift in your vibration, like this video so more people can discover their true name. If you're ready to spread abundance in the world, share this content and subscribe to this channel to continue receiving the keys that unlock the doors to divine prosperity. Because now that you know who you truly are, your journey of conscious abundance has only just begun. You are a conscious expression of infinite abundance, and the entire universe is waiting to confirm that truth through every experience of your life. So it is, so it shall be.